All right, great. Yeah, let's kick this off. So again, I just want to welcome all of you to the August community call for YMCA's digital services, including YMCA's website service. We have a very good agenda going on today. We have, in addition to talking about the release schedule coming up for the next handful of months, we're also going to give an update on font licensing for both the US market and for our Canadian partners. Um, let's see, I will talk about the change for these community calls. Starting next month, these calls will be on Wednesdays at 11 a.m., but I'll talk more about that later. I'm not going to steal my own thunder for later. And let's see, a quick reminder about the virtual Y roadmap for the end of the year and how that is winding down officially. But then we have members of the team working on the small Y template who are going to talk about what that is in more detail than what we previously shared, what the goals are, a quick look at how the look and feel is shaping up, and there will also be some availability for questions after that. So right. So yeah, we have a great call and looking forward to starting that. Let's see. Let me let in my boss because that would be rude if I didn't let him in the meeting. And right, I think we are ready to go. Let me just wait a sec for the slides to get pulled up and then we can get moving. All right, awesome. Awesome. Thanks so much for driving there, Shelly. All right, so I think if we go to the next one, right, there's our agenda that I just spoke through. And I think the first thing we're going to talk about is the release schedule. Am I, let's see, passing that off to you, Shelley?
Well, it helps if I'm not muted. Awesome. All right. So as you can see this week, we have a point release coming out. So some wrap up work from the July release, plus a little bit of extra compatibility for the colorways for the membership calculator and schedules. We've also got some layout builder technical debt fixes and improvements that are ongoing and ongoing bug fixes as well. And we will have those release notes for you guys probably a little bit later this week. So we'll reshare a copy of the deck with you once we have those available to you. So they're included in this deck so that you can take a look at what comes out on Thursday. Our next release will be a point release in November. Sometime around mid-November. We don't have an exact date yet, but stay tuned for that. And we will be releasing the small Y template, which we'll be discussing in greater detail shortly. And I will let the VML team handle that since I think they've got a really great presentation ready for you all. And then we've got another release coming in December, right on the heels of the small Y template release, where we're going to have some demo content available for you in the sandboxes just for the small Y project specifically. We'll also have some technical debt cleanup. So any issues that we find, we'll be cleaning up those as well. And we'll also be working on some Bootstrap 5 updates that'll be coming early in 2025. It'll be a much larger kind of back-end project. And then as we head into 2025, we've got a few more things on the horizon. We'll be going back to our normal release schedule. We've had the membership calculator updated redesign, which includes the financial aid estimator. We've got iconography for the design system and the small Y template. It'll be included both. We've got dark mode for the design system, which will be coming as well. We've got the Drupal 10.3 to Drupal 11 update, and those are actually kind of running in conjunction. So we'll probably be having the Drupal 11 update sometime in early 2025. So keep a heads up for that. We've also got some more boring backend stuff for the technical people, Vue.js updates, and then finalization of all of our Bootstrap work, which is kind of going along with the dark mode and some of this stuff to kind of bring all of our infrastructure and our backend back up into the mid 2020s and make sure that we're keeping up with the technology. So that is our release schedule. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it off now to the folks at VML, and they can start talking about our small Y template project, which has been taking up a lot of our time in the past couple of months. So we'd love to hear more about it.
Yeah, hi everybody. So you have myself, Michael DeTore, Joe Michelson, and Jeff Greer on the call from VML. So have been working closely with the Y Web Services team, really to kind of formalize this small Y template. So hand it over to those guys to kind of walk you through one, how we got to this point, and then two, what that's ultimately leading towards.
Yeah, thanks, Michael. So the whole crux of this project was for us to come up with a flexible, scalable website strategy and design that's going to help both the small Ys goals as well as meeting the needs of our target audience and looking at it through the lens of what's going to be needed today, but also make sure that we add some future-proof aspects to it so that it's going to work for everybody going into the future. So you can go to the next slide.
I don't know if
There you go. So our approach to this was to create a system that had structured flexibility. So by that, what I mean is we know that having too many choices can become overwhelming and problematic. And yet we know that you also are going to want to have some flexibility because you're going to have some individual needs for your association. So we wanted to make sure that we created an approach using templates that are built on an optimized content strategy. We're talking, best case scenario content strategy using human-centered design and a cohesive identity system into a templated approach that streamlines and simplifies the process of producing better local websites and doing it faster and more efficiently. You can go to the next slide. And central to all of that was to look at the visual language of the website and to create a fresh, modern theme that creates a cohesive visual identity that unifies the Wise digital ecosystem into alignment with the brand identity across the entire user journey. And what we have is a bright aesthetic. It's very airy, clean, contemporary, that incorporates brand colors, but does it strategically and impactfully so that the visual look and feel of this is modern and contemporary, and yet is always on brand. And then we can hand this over to Jeff to walk through the content strategy.
So when we talk about a modular content strategy for small Ys, we're really talking about a way of creating content that brings together local and movement messaging. And it looks seamless to your members, and it's much easier for your teams to create. What we do behind the scenes are create defined structures and templates. We give you a way to collaborate on content in real time. And we also help enforce content guidelines as we go along. Some of the benefits for small Ys is that you can create content faster, you'll have easier subject matter expert reviews, an efficient process, and you avoid duplicating effort by creating things that the movement has already created. And you're able to combine movement content with your small Y's needs, and that'll give the members of the small Y the info they need to sign up for programs and events, right? What is this? Where do I go? How do I sign up? What are the requirements for membership? And then in this slide, you can see how we adapt key messages from the movement, and we seamlessly combine them with local program and branch information. So this strategy is really based on a foundation of common information architecture. The structures are the same behind the scenes for pages and modules in those pages. And there are guidelines, like I mentioned in the previous slide, that help your teams follow the association standards as they're using that key movement messaging. And then that detailed local content geared towards what your members need out of your branch or local association.
So what you end up with is a very unified digital experience that is easy for small to mid-wise to execute and create an experience that's based on best practices for content strategy, for visual identity, for information architecture and narrative flow.
Right. So where we are in that process. So what we've taken you through today is kind of the foundations of how we build that small Y template. So currently in phase one, we're defining that content and design template strategy while also paralleling the development efforts to codify this and bring this to life. That phase two will be that open access to the small Y component distribution. And then phase three, as Shelley mentioned, right, is that dedicated small Y demo content site where we'll take those templates and we'll formalize them in a way that can be easily reviewed and adopted across local Ys.
Great,
All
thank
right.
you so much.
Oh, I'm
Tommy.
sorry, Shelley. Yeah, why don't you do the transition? I'm sorry.
No worries. No worries at all. All right. So next, we're going to bring Avi on to discuss just a quick little bit about font licensing.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for all that. We're super excited about the small Y stuff coming soon. Font licensing. There are no changes here, nothing new, but we've had a number of folks ask about this lately. And so we wanted to kind of reiterate and review how font licensing works for web. So as I think everybody knows, Cachet is the Y's primary font for internal and external materials. In fall of 2020, there was a big update that YUSA shared for the Cachet fonts across the board. There's a brand new package, so a download with book, a new extra light format, medium and bold. The whole update there really improves like the shape and the spacing of the fonts and brings it up to like modern standards both on desktop and web. So if you're still using like a super old font that's been kicking around your association for a while, you might want to check that out. And again, it's also optimized for web. So there were a number of different strategies for installing Cachet before this. And we've updated that and made it really consistent across the board so that all of these different font weights are able to be used as expected. So go ahead to the next slide, Shelley. Cool. So in case you haven't done this, either for your website or just for using locally, there are a number of resources that we've got to help you out with this. The main place where all of these things are shared is on the ybrand.org. So that's YUSA's brand guide, the ybrand.org/WordPress/Cachet. That has all of the new guidance and download links, and anybody with Hawaii login can log in there. There's also instructions for installing it at your association. So if you have an IT person who needs to install those fonts, you can get help with that. For web work, we recommend that you talk to your development partner. If you haven't updated Cachet or if you're not yet using Cachet on your website, we have a package that makes it really easy to install in the distribution and get it working very quickly out of the box. This isn't distributed with all of the rest of the open source code because the font license is proprietary to YUSA. And it's a license, paid license for that font. So while we can't distribute the font with the rest of the open source code, that package has been shared among the development partners. And if you aren't already using it, ask your partner to use it, or you can email ycloud@ymca.net in the developer channel or in the developer channel in Slack. The final link there is the documentation. So this is just another link to the Y brand, We also have instructions for developers and site builders to add Cachet to your site if you haven't done that already. So I will paste all these links in right after the presentation. Lastly, on the next slide, not to be forgotten, Y Canada uses a separate font system. They use Montserrat. Sorry, there's landscaping happening next door. Montserrat is the official font of Y Canada. And in 2003, all of that brand guidance was revised. Montserrat is packaged with the Y Canada layout builder colorway because it's licensed through Google Fonts, and it's a free license there. So all you need to get all of the font package for Y Canada is to get the new layout builder colorway, and we'll have all that. So just a review of all those licenses. Definitely update the Cachet stuff locally that you're using if you haven't in the last couple of years. There's some great new stuff there. That's it for me. Thanks. Back to Shelley.
Thank you so much. All right. Okay, so a couple final reminders, some usuals if you're on our calls. Don't forget to submit ideas to our product roadmap portal. We are building out ideas for 2025 right now. 2024, as you know, is being focused on the small Y template and getting that delivered for you all. So 2025, we're open for ideas. Please head over to our roadmap site, submit some new ideas, talk to your team, see if there's some things that you guys might like to see in 2025, and we can start talking about all of that as we start to plan out next year. And then over to Tom to do a quick overview of the community call time change.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. So for various YUSA internal reasons, we need to move this call to an exciting new day and time. So we are starting next month going to have this call on the second Wednesday of every month instead of the second Tuesday, but we will keep this time slot. So I will be following up with an updated invitation that will come to your email boxes a little later today. But I'll have all of the Zoom dial-in information, and you will have that at the ready. And of course, I'll broadcast it on Slack, and I find sending these out on link also helps to reach as many people as possible. So you'll have that notification coming to you shortly. And once you download these slides, then you'll have this link to our Digital Services YouTube channel, where we put the meeting recordings for every month's meeting for you to access it. So this link actually will take you right to the playlist for the meetings. At the end of the slides, we habitually put in the resources that you can refer to online, and one of those links is to the YouTube channel at large. So you'll find that there too. So again, I will see you at the next second Wednesday of the month, not Tuesday.
Awesome. Thank you, Tom. And then back to you for another quick virtual Y reminder.
Right. And I just wanted to put out this reminder again that we are sunsetting the virtual Y product at the end of this year. So really what that means is for those Ys that host a virtual Y through YUSA, through the YMCA's cloud hosting service, those sites will be decommissioned at the last day of the year. And of course, you are always welcomed to decommission your site before then, but the deadline is the end of the year. So virtual Y websites that are hosted with a different agency, with a different partner, you can certainly continue to run your websites after that date, but just understand that official support from this team won't be available after the 31st of December. But YUSA partners with YMCA 360. They are our mobile solution and web solution for exercise videos and other YMCA content. They're our partner of choice. And we just please ask you to consider migrating away from Virtual Y to YMCA 360. And we can help you to facilitate that introduction if you haven't already met Y360. And I have a link here again. Once you download the slides, then if you want to review that August 2023 community call, the YMCA 360 team introduces their product and gives a brief overview. And you can also meet their product manager in charge of onboarding and support, who can lead you through that YMCA 360 onboarding process. So I encourage you to hit that link. And yeah, again, just for those that host with YUSA, the way to cancel is easy. Just log into your site using your site owner administrative account. Go to any admin screen. It's easy enough just to go to manage and then configuration. At the bottom, we have this YCloud support section. If you click on that last link where it says after going live, submit a support ticket, then that comes into our system and it instructs us when precisely you want to have your site decommissioned. And of course, when your site's decommissioned, we stop billing. So we'll stop billing as soon as we receive the ticket to do so. So yeah, back to you, Shelley.
Okay. And then as just a quick refresher, we have some of the links that we've been sharing earlier today in some of these slides. We have our digital services gateway, which is all of the things technical involving YMCA's digital services. We have our documentation site, which is at ds-docs.y.org. We've got that lovely YouTube channel with all of our videos and tutorials at YMCA Digital Services on youtube.com. And then our GitHub for anybody that's submitting any code for any bug fixes or component fixes or anything like that. There's our GitHub. And I believe we'll be putting the Slack in the chat shortly. And that's it. Happy August, everyone. Let's see, we might have some questions in here today, Tom, to address. So let's take a look.
Right, yeah, there was a question. Let's see if I scroll way back up to the top. Let's see, we had a question asking, could the small Y template be utilized to create landing pages for individual locations that are within a large association? And the answer is yes. Yeah, it absolutely could. If, say, a location, or more commonly a camp, if that site has a reason for a different look and feel in UX than your main association site, or if there's a different team that maintains the content and it's a little more distinct or has a need for a different kind of exposure than your association site, then it absolutely could. The underlying goal of the small Y template is to make the setup and administration of a site a little bit easier for those associations that are a single location or that have a small handful of locations. But for setup of camps and maybe a location that wants to distinguish themselves differently from the rest of the association, sure, that's absolutely possible. And let's see, looking beyond that.
We have a bootstrap question.
Yes. Yes. And I don't know, Avi, if you want to expand a little on your answer there.
Sure, yeah. So yeah, as we are updating from Bootstrap 4 to 5, Andre mentioned there is a migration process. And so if you've inserted your own CSS, or if you've used custom styles there, they may break at some point in that transition. But what we're planning on doing is utilizing Bootstrap 5 for the new layout builder components in a way that still allows Bootstrap 4 like via Carnation or a custom theme to exist and not overlap each other. That'll hopefully ease the transition for a lot of folks. Like I said, if you are doing custom stuff, you'll want to update so that you don't have those two kind of code bases coexisting for longer than you need, because there will be a little bit of a performance hit if you keep those around. But yeah, we're trying to understand that that it's going to take a little while for folks to make the update and make that as seamless as possible.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Avi. And I think that covers our questions that came into the chat. Let me take one more look.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
I
that's
believe
great.
that's it.
Mhm.
And no questions came in through the email route. So yeah, I think unless someone wants to come off mute and ask something now, I think we are good to go. Yeah, great. Okay. Well, again, thank you all for coming to the call. Look for those updated invitations to hit your box later today, and I look forward to seeing you next month. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, team.